Hello students, I'm Madam Joyce from Educare TZ. I'm teaching biology and today I'll be with you to discuss our topic which is found in Form 5, and this is the first topic, that is cytology. And whereby in our topic now we are going to deal with our subtopic which is called the types of the cell. So now in the types of the cell we are discussing on the general structure which are found within the cell, and that is called the we have almost 3 parts. The first one, it is called the plasma membrane. The second one, it is called the cytoplasm. In the last part, it is called the nucleus. So we have already started looking on the structure of the plasma membrane, and we terminate by looking on the functions of the plasma membrane. So in our today's session also we are going looking on the plasma membrane, but here our main focus, we are going to deal with the adaptation of the cell surface membrane. So now we are going to see what are the adaptations of this cell surface membrane. Since we have already seen the functioning of the cell surface membrane, so how is it adapted to perform different kinds of functions? Inawezaje kufanya kazi tofauti tofauti hii cell surface membrane? So these one are the adaptations. Now we can say that the cell membrane is specialized to its function due to the following adaptation. The function of cell membrane, we have seen there is a lot of the functions of the cell membrane. So how does the cell membrane perform its functions? Inawezaje kufanya kazi yake effectively? So now here we can say the first functioning, the presence of glycolipids, glycoproteins and phospholipids are for detection of stimuli such as antigens and antibodies. So within the cell surface membrane, there are there is a lot of material that are found within it, or a lot of structure which are found within it. And one of it we have seen there is glycolipid, there is glycoproteins, and there is phospholipids. All of this material, all of these chemicals which are found within the cell surface membrane, they are there for detection of a stimuli on the outside environment. So they tend to detect the stimuli such as the antigens or the antibodies when they come across or nearby the surface of the cell membrane. So this the cell surface membrane will detect it. How did they detect it? Because of the presence of this material, that is glycolipid, glycoprotein together with the phospholipid. So it can detect or it can recognize the presence of any substance on the outside environment is due to those chemicals. And another adaptation of the cell surface membrane, we can say that the presence of hydrophilic pores for passage of polar substances. Remember the functioning of the cell surface membrane, we have seen that it is selective permeable. It allows some of material to enter and some of material to leave the cell. So how does a material enter? How does a material selectively enter within the cell? Is due to the presence of hydrophilic pore, whereby it will tend to allow only those polar molecules to enter through the cell. And now we can see the hydrophilic pores for the passage of the polar substances. Hapa tunaongelea any kind of solvent, that is water. Water, they tend to enter through this part ambayo tunaita nini? Hydrophilic. And another adaptation here, we can say that the phospholipid bilayer facilitates the passage of the fatty soluble substances. Tukiongelea phospholipid bilayer, tuliona kwenye hile structure. So now we can say that phospholipid bilayer, it tends to facilitate the passage of soluble or fatty soluble substances. inasaidia kupitisha yale material selectively, ambayo inakuwa ni nini? Ni fat soluble substances. Yanaweza kupita is due to the presence of phospholipid bilayer. My student, here you have to notice something. While you have been told to explain the adaptations of anything, make sure that if there is a diagram within it, unataja parts, then you explain the function as I used to explain here. And another adaptation of the cell surface membrane, simply we can say that the presence of microville increases the surface area for absorption. So pia within it there is a presence of microvilles. Microville pia inapatikana ndani ya cell surface membrane. So the function of the microville within the cell surface membrane is to facilitate the process of absorption of material that are needed within the cell. So they tend to be absorbed. So yanafyonzwa kupitia hii structure ambayo tunaita microville. Another adaptation of the cell surface membrane, we can say that the presence of proteins with these specific shapes makes the membrane a receptor site for chemical stimuli such as the hormone. So in the functions of the cell surface membrane, we have seen that one of the function, that is the cell membrane, it helps in transmission of impulse or hormonal impulse. So how that hormonal impulse are transported? Here is due to the presence of this structure that is chemical, or that thing that is a protein. Protein ndio ambayo inawezesha hormones ambazo zinaweza zikaingia within a plant cell, then to enter into a different part that are needed. So it's due to the presence of this protein with a specific shape make the membrane a receptor site for chemical stimuli such as the hormone. So the hormones are detected with the presence of this protein. And another function or another adaptation of the cell surface membrane, here we can say that the presence of glycolipid and glycoproteins enable the membrane to bind to the membrane of a neighboring cells that are cell-to-cell recognition. So within the cell surface membrane, there is a presence of the glycolipid together with the glycoprotein. Hii glycolipid pamoja na glycoprotein ndiyo ambayo sasa tunasema kwamba ina enable cell to bind or to recognize. Cell inaweza kutambua uwepo wa seli nyingine in its either side is due to the presence of this glycolipid and glycoprotein. They tend to recognize cell to cell. If there is a neighboring cells, so this glycolipid and glycoprotein, they tend to recognize, inatambua uwepo wa hiyo cell. And another thing, or another adaptation of this cell surface membrane, or the presence of cholesterol disrupts the close packing of phospholipids. This keeps them more fluid and maintains stability and flexibility of the membrane over a wide range of a temperature. Remember, while we are discussing on the plasma membrane, while we are looking on those models, that is fluid mosaic model, tukasema kwamba kwenye fluid mosaic model hii cell membrane inakuwa dynamic. Why is it dynamic? Kwa sababu kuna presence ya hii structure au hii material au hii chemical inayoitwa cholesterol. Cholesterol ndiyo ambayo ina bring about the dynamic of the cell surface membrane. Since here you can say that it brings the membrane fluid and maintain the stability and flexibility of the membrane over a wide range of a temperature. So flexibility ndiyo ambayo ina bring about dynamic. dynamic nature of the cell surface membrane. So these things are connected. So if you understand explaining the fluid mosaic model, the adaptation pia unaweza ukaelezea. Since you just take one adaptation, or one part, then you elaborate its function. And here I have said that the dynamic nature inatokana na ile cholesterol ambayo tumesema ile cholesterol ina disturb the close packing of the phospholipid. So haitakuweza tena kuwa ile static in nature. So since this cholesterol tend to disturb the packing of this the packing of the phospholipids. And now here we have said that it keeps or it maintains stability and flexibility of the membrane over a wide range. That's become the adaptations of this plasma membrane. So my student, for more clarification on adaptation and the other parts that are found within the cell, I would like to invite you in the next part of this session. Thank you for listening.